interest this afternoon. Please, could whoever's in the chamber make sure that their mobile phones are switched off, as it does interfere with our app.
This is acceptable regarding impact on highway safety. This is, however, subject to planning conditions requiring a service delivery plan for the public house restaurant, which would need to include the hours of delivery and compliance thereafter with agreed timeframes. In terms of retail impact, this has been gone through in a lot of detail by the Council's own retail consultant. Monmouth benefits from its attractive historic centre, and this has enabled it to perform relatively better than many market towns. However, it does not make it immune from the pressures facing small town centres now, and it is believed that the proposed retail units, the two bulky goods retail units, would give rise to the risk of unacceptable detrimental impact on the vitality and viability of the town centre. It's important to note there's no end user named for the two bulky goods units, which makes it more difficult then to assess impact. So there is concern there about that element. The view of the Council's retail consultant has remained unchanged during the course of this application. That means despite Monmouth Town Centre exhibiting some positive signs in terms of its offer and attractiveness to residents and visitors, it is potentially vulnerable, like many centres of its size. The proposed development in this case, the retail units, but not, I hasten to add, the public house, will have an unacceptable detrimental impact on the vitality and viability of the town centre, contrary to LDP policies S6 and RET4. It is the judgment of the Council's retail assessor, however, that the impact of the proposed public house restaurant would not be of a scale to threaten the role played by public houses and restaurants in supporting the vitality and viability of the town centre. In terms of visual impact, the application has proposed a strong landscaping scheme that reinforces planting on the periphery of the site and the new entrance to the site, helping the development to assimilate into the local area, including the rural backdrop to the north and the Wye Valley AONB to the east of the site. However, during the twilight hours, with the proposed lighting scheme, which includes taller lighting columns, this will make the scheme highly visible and visually intrusive within the landscape. The extent of the light pollution is not entirely clear, although the height, number and method of lighting the site is at variance with the context of this rural, high-quality commercial development and detracts significantly from the scheme. This element is currently unacceptable and would thus form a reason for refusal of the application. In terms of flooding, the proposed development is for non-vulnerable development in a C1 flood zone. The applicants have looked to work with a number of options on the site. The final alternative that the developers have determined is the most sensitive is option 2, that is to keep the floor levels broadly where they are, and with details in accordance with this option were submitted accordingly. NRW were then consulted and have objected. The proposal, in their view, fails to demonstrate that the risks and consequences of flooding can be managed to an acceptable level in accordance with TAN 15. And furthermore, the flood consequences assessment has used flood data, which is now considered out of date. The new data will not change the potential consequences of flooding to and from the site, as it will show a greater risk of flooding compared to the flood data used to inform the December 2015 assessment. And these depths exceed the indicative tolerable conditions set out in TAN 15. So it's concluded that the proposal fails to accord with national planning guidance and relevant planning policy. So in conclusion, there's no objection in principle to development on this site, but the current proposal is unacceptable having regard to, firstly, retail impact of the two bulky goods retail elements of the scheme. Secondly, the fact that the proposal fails in having to be in accordance with TAN 15 regarding flood risk. And thirdly, the lighting proposed would be excessive and obtrusive in this important gateway site on the edge of Monmouth. So we would thus recommend refusal of the application. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that detailed of all that this application has been with us for some time. But I do believe we have speakers that wish to speak of it now this afternoon. Yes, Councillor Dove, you have your hand raised.
Yes, Madam Chairman. The reason I raise my hand is I think I have to declare an interest in this, because earlier in a previous career I was involved in this site, and I think I might carry prejudices in my own mind with it and not give it a fair shot now. So I will not vote. If you wish me to go out, I'll go out.
I think it's safest if you have an interest, was probably leave the chamber, but I would take advice from our legal. Yes, please leave. Yeah, right, thank you. We will let you leave the chamber, Councillor Dovey.
I've got something to read anyway, Madam Chair.
As Councillor Dovey is leaving, I believe we have a town councillor who wishes to speak on this application. Could you please take the stand, and you have 4 minutes. Was it 6 minutes? 6 minutes. 6 minutes, I think, isn't it? Four as town councillor. Right, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'm Richard Roden, the Mayor of Monmouth. I note that the officers have recommended rejection on 3 grounds: flood risk, the economic detriment to Monmouth of the 2 bulky goods units, and excessive lighting impact. Speaking as Mayor and on behalf of Monmouth Town Council, I would like to briefly add 2 further points of objection. The 2017-2020 Monmouthshire Destination Management Plan sets out the county's objectives. One of these is to make a great first impression for visitors to Wales. We should be encouraging visitors to enter Monmouth to experience the unique blend of shopping, our historical sites and tea rooms, restaurants and pubs that the town offers. The building of a prominent public house and retail park at the entrance to the town would work against this, keeping visitors away from the town that is a delight to visit and in need of more footfall. It is hard to conceive of any benefit to Monmouth the Dixton development would bring, but very easy to see the detrimental aspects. In effect, it is an unsuitable location for a development of this type. A second objective in the 2017-2020 Monmouthshire Destination Management Plan is to promote our inspirational landscapes and border country heritage that gives the county a very special character. The proposed development is not in keeping with the area, which is nearly surrounded by green fields and easily viewed from the Wye Valley area of outstanding natural beauty. Indeed, on the English side of the border, the AONB extends further outside of the River Wye, offering significantly more protection against damage to the area. This development would undoubtedly be damaging to the scenic attractiveness of the area. Monmouth Town Council feels that the proposed development would damage the town and damage the area by having a detrimental impact on tourism, the local economy, the environment, and our residents. Finally, I've personally spoken to many stakeholder groups in the town, and all of them, including our town council, are against it, and therefore I request that you refuse this application without reservation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Councillor. We now have another person to speak, I believe. Very familiar face in the chamber, and I gather from your email this is your last appearance in the chamber.
Yes, Chair, it's my swan song.
Right, thank you very much indeed. You also have 4 minutes.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to thank the Chair for allowing me to speak on behalf of Monmouth Chamber of Commerce as an objector to this application. This development in so many ways would adversely affect our market town of the gateway to Wales. We are, however, pleased that after 5.5 years and 900 or so letters of objection, it is finally being considered at county level today, and I'd like to thank Phil Robertson of Gateway to Wales Action Group for keeping the general public informed. As I only have 4 minutes to make a case against this large application, I will highlight key points principally affecting